to 650 cubic meters of illegal lifted crude oil in 5 compartments were said to be on board when this was actually set on fire by the Nigerian Navy.
I mean, it's quite silly. It is quite silly, because it's not like Nigeria has stopped shipping crude oil or drilling crude oil. I mean, they've not. So definitely this is a vessel that could have been confiscated and then used. Secondly, look at the evidence of what do you call it, the crime, because it is a sin of a crime, and therefore if investigation is going to be taking place, they have to come, they need to find out who have been on board, blah blah blah. But they quickly destroyed it. Is it just a plot to just hide those big hooks behind it? Who owns that ship? Did they establish that as well?
Well, we haven't been given those behind, these illegal crude oil. I mean, we are talking about in large quantity, and this has been going on, for a very long time in Nigeria. But it's not the first time that cover-up has been done. Remember that the cocaine was found in Ikorodu in the southwest of Lagos, and what we saw is, it is not even up to a month that this happened, but evidence again have been destroyed rather than being kept, to find out who are those behind these illegal activities happening in Nigeria. So it has now raised a lot of question mark, to so many Nigerians across the world. Once again, this is Starr Radio UK. It is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. So a lot of Nigerians are a little bit concerned when it comes to evidence that can be used to finally nail down those behind it. But I'm not sure whether the evidence has been gathered. But the only best way for Nigerians to destroy this now is to set it on fire, rather than maybe remove some of the crude oil and then dismantle that after the evidence has been gathered. But they believe that by destroying it on the sea will probably be the best option.
Now you didn't talk about the environmental pollution that is going to be taking place, the destruction, marine life that is going to be destroyed, and everything there. But I don't think our people have a clue when it comes to things like that, and therefore they just continue in that same old knee-jerk reaction, not using their heads in any situation of that sort. But listeners, well, these are some of the things happening in Nigeria today. But let's come to some of the other stories. Army intercepts cannabis worth 4.9 million in Yobe. Has that one been burnt as well?
Well, at the moment, it is still in the hands of the Nigerian security, and just as I'm sure that within the next couple of days. Let's take a look at the story behind Yobe State is in the northeast of Nigeria, and as we can tell you this morning, the Northeast Joint Task Force Damatru Yobe has handed 98 parcels of cannabis, worth 4.9 million naira to the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency. The sector commander, Major General Koko Isoni, said that is why handing over the seized substance to the agency yesterday in Damatru. It was abandoned by the courier, including the vehicle conveying the consignment, when he saw the patrol team, and that definitely means that somebody, was trying to move this cannabis. But after spotting the security agency, both the person inside left the vehicle, and likewise the content that is now being retrieved by the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency from the Nigerian military.
Now, interestingly, I think in Ghana they are considering, having a law which allows people to cultivate cannabis for commercial purposes, okay, or for industrial purposes. Now, is there any law like that in Nigeria allowing people to grow cannabis for those purposes, or still we are living in that same old world and therefore nothing of the sort seems to be happening there?
Well, as it is right now, that is definitely not something that is allowed, in Nigeria. But I know that Showere was was a very I talked about it, and he says in one of the article, I believe in April at the beginning of this year, Nigerian government keep burning cannabis while the US said to make billions of dollars from it. That is from Omoyele Showere, the presidential candidate for the AAC. According to him, a state in the United States makes $1 billion from cannabis, while some state in Nigeria beg for the federal allocation monthly. The presidential aspirant and a human rights activist, Omoyele Showere, take his swat at the Nigerian government over its refusal to legalize cannabis for medicinal and commercial purposes.
Well, listeners, interesting. We will get more of those, but when you come on Starr Radio UK, we are able to bring you everything that you need to know on. Yes, that is happening across the globe. But let's move on straight to some other stories making the rounds this morning. It is Starr Radio UK. Now, so on some of the stories there, a lady said that she was going to be raped. By some security agencies there again. So it looks like the security agencies this week don't seem to be doing any good thing there, you know.
Well, it is a very sad situation that the security operatives in Nigeria tend to make use of their security outfit, not just to harass Nigerians, but also to molest a lot of Nigerians. And that was actually what led to the 2 years ago NSAS that we saw across the country that eventually became another military brutality where a lot of Nigerians were killed. And as we speak today, more bodies have still not been found from the relatives. A Nigerian woman has cried out for help, why alleging that a senior police officer identified as SP Judy Ifeanya pushed her from the staircase at the Federal Territory Capital, Abuja Police Command after his attempt to rape her failed. According to account obtained by this, by the paper, the woman alleged that this SP Ifeanya took her out alongside his friend on Friday, but on their way back home, he drove into the compound. She later realized it was the FCT Police Command with SQ. So it is something that the police needs to really work on in Nigeria, to make sure that situations like these are being looked into. We've seen different allegations, but most of the time we've also seen a concrete evidence that not just the military, the police are also abuses of their power given to them to make a society a much better way, but rather in the reverse situation.
But here in the UK, we've got a police complaint unit, where when things like that happen, they'll see to undertake investigations. We have that for the military. We have the military police who also see to all those things. Is there anything of the sort in Nigeria? Because when it came to the NSAS, it seemed that there wasn't anything of the sort, and so the police can go around, do whatever they want. Nobody holds them accountable. They were not held culpable. They just killed people. They just did anything. Now, is there anything, a regulatory body apart from the hierarchy itself, that seems to say, hey, we are bringing you, we're going to investigate what has gone on? Has Nigeria gone anything of the sort there?
Oh yes, there is a complaint section in Nigeria, and I'm just looking at just about 2 weeks ago headline, and this is what we have: Nigerian Police Unit records almost 287 complaints against officers in 3 months. And that is quite staggering. If you look at the breakdown in 3 months alone, almost 287, and if you add this to that, it becomes extra as well. The Complaint Response Unit, also known as the CRU of the Nigerian Police, has actually received 14,976 complaints against the police officer since it was established in 2015. The Complaint Response Unit of Nigeria Police says 287 complaints of professional misconduct against police officers nationwide in the first quarter of the year. The unit disclosed these at an event by the Avcat Saint Fontres, a French organization in Abuja, on Thursday. According to the report that was presented by Mario Ishaku, the Assistant Commissioner of Police and head of the CRU, 287 complaints against the police between January and March this year. 181 representing about 63% of the cases were being resolved. The report also added 100 cases, about 35% of the total number of the complaints are still pending. So it looks like the Nigerian Police Unit are doing investigation in some of these cases, but again, police has also recovered a total of 1.2 million naira from officers. So it looks like there's still more corrupt officers in Nigeria that are using their offices as an abuse for extortion, molestation, and also in some cases kidnapping, just as we saw during the arrest of Hush Puppy in Dubai. Is currently in America. That Abba Kyari, that is currently in detention as we speak as well, want to be extradited to US, but it seems the Nigerian government is not really giving to that. It was named as being used to molest and also kidnap an average Nigerian because he was getting the order from Hush Puppy from Dubai.
Wow, listeners, interesting updates from Nigeria with Mr. Olayomi Koiki. And let me acknowledge a couple of people. We'll come to that. I want to ask a few questions there. Now, Shamsuddin Oladipupo, good morning to you. He says, God bless Yoruba Nation. Yoruba Nation now. Yoruba Nation will go back. God bless you all. Okay, God bless you too, Samsudin. Bishop Adesola. Good morning. He says to Mr. Koike and Mr. Archie as well. God bless you, sir, as well. Now, Tones AJs. He says, good morning, White Lion. And Kami Adewale, Nigeria is a bad news. That's what he's saying there. All right then. Now, listen, let's start ready. Okay, Mr. Olayomi Koiki in our North London studios. I'm actually here in the South studios, and we are looking at updates from Nigeria. Now, Yomi, still just to run up the conversation about the police and everything that is there. Now, the answers hearing that took place, that result, what has become of it? Do you know anything? Did the Lagos State governor put it into? What has become of it? Let me put it in that way.
It seems, as usual, not just only that, that also, just as you mentioned that, one of the, the motor park manager, as is known in Nigeria, known as MC Olomo, they won 5 million, but I'm not sure they got 5 million, campaign for Tinubu over the weekend. He has actually come out to say that review bodies, MC Olomo is querying Lekki shooting. And that is now something that a lot of Nigerians are concerned about. If the chairman of the Lagos State Parks and Garage Management Committee, Musilu Akinsoya, popularly known as MC Oluomo, has said that the killings of #EndSARS protesters at Lekki Tollgate 2 years ago could not be connected to the presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress. Remember that, the concession of the Lekki Tollgate is something that is managed by, Tinubu. It has a link to that. And also, there was a lot of evidence as at that time. But the question you ask is, what has been the outcome of these EndSARS, inquiries that took place? Just as any other, it has been filed under a table, but not much has been done so far.
Well, interesting. I want, those of you in Nigeria who are embarking on those, the campaign and stuff like that, to ask those leaders what has become of that. Ask them, because it is not you. It can happen to maybe your one of your friends or your families or something of the sort. Okay, but it is Starr Radio UK. Now let's move on to some other stories making the rounds. Now, Obasanjo denies endorsing the ruling APC presidential candidate Tinubu. Now, Obasanjo, we know that he is supposed to be a PDP member. Well, I know that all these leaders or presidential candidates want to go see the past.
Yes, the one is his PDP membership, so he's just a neutral.
So that's why he think that he's in bed with some of them. But he's denying endorsing Tinubu. Why? What is his reason? What has he said about it? Over to you.
Well, as the election campaign, momentum, the campaign, or the PDP were actually at the Uyo with 15 private jets. That's where the gallery, is that the festival have already started, and that's where. But again, Obasanjo have denied. We know that Tinubu was at the presidential library of Obasanjo, some few weeks back, and probably it seems that having a weight of Obasanjo on the APC will make some kind of changes. But it has actually come out that Obasanjo has rebuked that, saying that Tinubu had in August paid a former president visit in Hilltop in Abeokuta, Ogun State, southwest of Nigeria, but during which Obasanjo taunted the People's Democratic Party for choosing his former deputy Atiku Abubakar as his presidential candidate. Olusegun Obasanjo, a former president, has described as fake news circulating message on the social media in which he was said to have endorsed Bola Tinubu, presidential candidate of the ruling APC. So it seems already that the message that is going on the social media has definitely not been from Obasanjo, and that is why he has actually released that statement.
Well, listeners, it is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. All right then, we will go back to Yomi. It's 11:24 now for him to bring us the rest of the stories making the rounds. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much. Nigerians to pay more for gas under Buhari government as importers lament. That's coming from the headline. There might be a good news coming from the ASU as university lecturers ASU set to call up the strike. We will wait for more details of that after the engagement with the Speaker of the House, Femi Gbajabiamila. Not a very good news again from the hands of the terrorists, as terrorists have released a video of the adopted daughters of the former Accountant General of Zamfara State. And likewise, in the viral video, the terrorists are threatening to marry them or force them to join, the Boko Haram. So, what a very, very, disturbing news from that particular side. The girls were adopted over 3 months in Funfuru village in Bugundu local government area of Zamfara State. You will wonder again, 3 months, innocent girls being taken away from their loved ones in the hands of the captivity of the terrorists, but yet the campaign is much more important to the same government that have failed to protect every Nigerian in the country. And the question is, will there be a country in 2023? Let's take a look at the countdown to the election. That is, if there will be one, as more of the self-determination from the Biafra, the Niger Delta, the Yoruba are saying that they are going to be pulling out of Nigeria, whatever it takes, as Professor Banji Akintoye said in one of his engagement with the, with his meeting he had over the weekend, that our lives is now in our hands. We will take it, we will take it by ourselves. Also, a letter has been sent again to United Nations yesterday from the Yoruba Self-Determination. 122 days, 13 hours, 33 minutes, and the seconds keep dropping before whether an election will hold or some of the unit of the indigenous people will be pulling out of Nigeria. Let's take a couple of more headlines, come back again to you in the studio. A very sad news again, as the election gets in, more killings happen in Nigeria. A murder of the APC youth leader in Enugu, unjustifiable, according to Ejike Eze. We've seen that more people have been killed, in the last couple of days. The United Nations begs rich nations to help indebted Nigeria. The United Nations is calling for more flexibility from developed countries in easing the growing debt burden of the poorer state, is also coming from the headline. Again, Akure in the southwest north community has protest. Tell Akeredolu to fix the bad roads, and again a very sad one there. You did talk about the story of the young boy that was again hospital is one of the biggest problem in Nigeria, as more Nigerians are dying because of the negligence of not having adequate system to give, especially the elderly, the youths, and the elderly and the children, what it can take to have proper medical treatment. So we will see more youth, more children dying of the negligence of that. So I'm going to take one more, come back again to you in the studio. Once again, this is Starr Radio UK. It is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. Again, we've seen a lot of atrocity going on again in the southeast of Nigeria, where more police stations have been burnt down. Kogi State House of Assembly yesterday was raised on fire. Not sure, what is the reason for that. But what we can say is that, I'm not sure whether there was any loss of life. But yesterday in Kogi State House of Assembly complex has completely gone kupu. Starr Radio UK, I'll come back again to you now in the studio.
Okay, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let me acknowledge a few people who has also joined us as well and read some of their comments. Amoyi Wasinuga says, good morning everyone in the house. The time has come for the situation to take new dimension. For God has told me new things will start happening within the next 3 days. Wow. This is a prophecy then. This is a prophecy. So we take it serious. I mean, those of us who believe in prophecies. Okay, so that's what you are saying. 3 days, yes. And then Isaiah Blessing saying, well done, Mr. Koiki. We love you so much. Continue your good work. And thank you. And thank you very much to each and every one of you who tuned in this morning to listen to us or to view us. Now, now the campaign rally that was supposed to take place for the Labour Party in the Lagos State, did it take place or not? What happened? Because I knew that they were stopping them from having that rally.
It was unstoppable because of the numbers of the crowd. It actually went ahead on on October 1st, in Lagos and more than 14 different states as well.
How was the momentum there? How was the whole rally like for the Labour Party?
You could tell again the push, continue as all the the candidates are doing their best. I think Peter Obi is still in London. Probably he's going to be flying back very soon. We couldn't get through to him, but hopefully we will if we have the time, so that we can bring him to come and speak to us on the Star Radio UK. But as the momentum for the campaign has kicked off, we just talked about the PDP were in Uyo, trying to tell Nigerians what they're going to be doing, but the Labour Party held their rally as well on October 1st. But what I saw during the outcome of the reviewing the campaign that went for Tinubu over the weekend, it seems that those that are campaigning are saying that this does not belong to Lagos, does not belong to anybody. It actually belongs to the Yorubas. But it doesn't seem that that's when you look at that and compare that to what we have been looking at from the perspective of those that are campaigning for self-determination. The self-determination are not saying that anyone living in Lagos will have to be chased away or in any part of the Yoruba land, but they will definitely have to look into whether to live in the society with a constitution that they'll have to abide by. But what we are hearing from the APC that we're going at is, it looks like they were really against the other ethnic groups in the country, especially those in Lagos State.
Well, listeners, we're following all that very, very closely. Let me say good morning to Dave West and to your lovely wife Jenny as well. Good morning to you there. Now let's look at one other issue. I was looking at the rallies and the various rallies that is taking place now. The last election, you were on the ground. Starr Radio UK was on the ground. You were there monitoring everything that was going on. We saw where people were snatching ballot boxes and stuff like that. Do you think that let's take somebody like Peter Obi? I mean, he's been around, but this is the first time he's heading a party, his own political party. And do you think that they are able to put the logistics in place to forestall such things happening, so that the results will be the reality or something close to reality?
Well, and I think structure is one of the most important thing with the political party in Nigeria, and I think as a lot of people are much, especially the opposition, are saying that Labour Party do not have that structure in place. Especially Labour Party has not always been there. It's just that Peter Obi, like you said, he contested as the vice president under Atiku at the last election, but it seems now that he's going on his own to become a president, and the momentum is building up. So we now have the third force that is now pushing. Do they have the logistics? I believe time will tell, as we continue to monitor the situation on Star Radio UK. You were quite right, when we traveled about almost 5 years ago, 7 years ago, to Nigeria for the last election. What we saw was the other party had the structure. What I mean by that is I visited almost more than enough polling unit, and you could see the APC were there, the PDP were there, and the smaller party were not actually there. So that means these are the structure that, and we're talking about almost 774 local government in Nigeria. Does the Labour Party have that capacity to make sure that they can monitor? That is if an election will hold, subject to what everybody is saying, especially the former president Olusegun Obasanjo has talked about it, Pastor Adeboye have talked about it, that there is war in Nigeria, and it seems that the situation as we speak right now, we've seen the uncertainty going on in the southeast, especially the confrontation by the military in the southeast, and that is a lot of tension. We've seen the Boko Haram that is now pushing more in the northeast, coming to the northwest, then dropping down to the southwest. We've seen the agitation coming much and more as the super rally will be announced very soon for the Yorubas to reclaim back their territory.
Well, listeners, we'll follow it very, very closely. But another question before we leave that. Now, the Southeast was there still a sit down yesterday? That's Monday, as that being the norm. And if it has, do you think that with that strength that they have, and that they are able to convince the people to actually stick by what they've said, that is the IPOP, do you think that elections will hold in the southeast?
The IPOP are not sitting at home today, and it's because there is a court case going on. But what I can confirm is, according to the information that we have, don't force sit at home on on October. I mean, the IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu, but it seems that the supporter are not really listening to that anymore, because already they believe that Nnamdi Kanu has been kept in the DSS custody, and that means they are the one outside. They have to keep the pressure, and the government is losing a lot. Remember that no truck, no vehicular movement, coming from the north down to the southeast, and coming from the south going up as well. So that literally means that a whole business activities is shut down. And that has actually led to classroom now being moved from Monday to Saturday. Bank are being shut down. Civil servants are not going to work. It is not something that we can joke with, especially as the push, the momentum is getting closer regarding the election. And that seems that the IPOB sit at home, even though it's not compulsory, but they have actually taken it as part of what they will use as a sacrifice, especially that their leader has been kept, after the rendition, the kidnapping from Kenya. The only way that they can do it is a civil disobedience, sit at home.
Now, what has Peter Obi said about it? Do you know? About the whole issue?
Peter Obi, I've actually not, he's been very, very careful, even though there's been a lot of commenting on the social media, follow that Peter Obi should try to host a campaign on Monday. I'm not sure, that is definitely going to happen, but there's a lot of commenting from Reno. Reno is a PDP supporter, and he keeps saying, Peter Obi is just, a good supporter of the IPOB, even though Peter Obi says he's fighting for, every Nigerian to become the president. So, but the question is, Peter Obi has actually said the IPOB are not terrorists, as the government have labeled them. And that is where the problem is. The federal government believes that IPOB is a terrorist. The international community disagree with the federal government.
Well, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK 11:36 from the hearts of London. Keep your comments coming through, and I promise you, sure that we're going to be touching on it. But how is Nnamdi Kanu?
Nnamdi Kanu health is is getting a little bit worsened, because that's what the the legal advisor are saying. I was actually following what Barrister Ifeanyi Ejimefo had to say, and the latest that I can tell you, counsel to the detained leader of the indigenous people of the Biafra, no sit at home on Tuesday, which is today, as we've said earlier as well. And the reason for that is that the counsel to the detained leader of the indigenous people of the Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, Barrister Ifeanyi Ejimefo, has said Nnamdi Kanu is not going to court on Tuesday. Ejimefo, who stated this in a release made yesterday, said the court in which Kanu would have appeared on Tuesday took place on the 13th of September, and for this reason there is not going to be a court appearance. His appeal between Nnamdi Kanu and the federal government of Nigeria, originally scheduled to be heard tomorrow, which is today, was brought forward. Remember that was actually brought forward last month, so there will not be any kind of a court appearance according to that. But again, as such, tomorrow's earlier date have been vacated according to him. Well,
listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. Now let's come to Chief Sunday Igboho. Now, yesterday was his birthday, so did he send out a special message to his the Yoruba Nation followers? Was there anything of the sort?
Yes, he did. During the Yoruba World Media Town Hall meeting, and he did actually congratulate everyone, that was sending him wishes from around the world. Let's think about, Chief Sunday Igboho. This time last year was held at the Benin Republic. After the federal government, sent a circular to different African countries. But yesterday was his birthday, and just as he, reminded a lot of Yoruba that the super rally is getting closer, where the announcement will be made, and that announcement will go across all the length and breadth of the towns and cities, villages in Yoruba land, telling the international community that the indigenous people of the Yoruba would like to reclaim back, their territory, have their own government, just as it said in that under the the Articles 3 of the right to self-determination. It did remind people to prepare for that super rally that will be announced very, very soon. That was from the message he passed on during the Yoruba Town Hall meeting yesterday evening.
Okay, once again we say congratulations to him, Chief Sunday Igboho, for God adding another year to his years. It is Starr Radio UK. Before we go to what is happening on the social media platform, do you think that, well, a relationship, every one of us hopes that a relationship works and everything goes on very well, but when it happens that it's not working, the marriage, you know that this one is not working, people are killing, beating their partners to pap. What do you do? Do we say, oh no, we have to still be in together? I want to know what you think about that, especially when it comes to the groups who are saying that, look, we think we are being marginalized, we are being maltreated, we want out. It's not the same thing that we did when we thought that the colonial masters were ruling us and doing everything. We said, no, we want out. We don't want to be part of it any longer. What do you think? Let me know your comments there. Okay, Yomi, what's happening on the social media platform?
Well, ASU is already trending at 14,000 tweets so far, and the reason for that is because of the latest update from ASU. We hope this will be resolved, between the federal government and ASU. So joy overflow as ASU President Osadeke assures strike will be called off very soon. So we will wait and look forward to that details as we have it. Also, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, extract of the meeting between the leadership of the House of Representative led by the Speaker and ASU leadership. So, like I say, that has now been the trending from Nigeria this morning. We're going to take one more because of the time and then come back straight to you in the studio. Once again, this is Starr Radio UK, the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. 13 states are currently affected by the flood in Nigeria, and it is not yet a national emergency. Places where we literally produce the food that we eat. That is coming from Jake at ite_. What a very sad one, as a lot of farmers' produce have been destroyed. Again, now government is still oil for Nigeria. With a video that is also circulating where the individual was explaining how a tanker, could come into the offshore of Nigeria not being detected. But people are also saying that, if they turn off the details of the satellite on that vessel, it might probably not be picked up, as well. Our prayers are with the victims of the recent flood disaster ravaging some part of the country. All evidence of neglect of key infrastructure. Let's end the reign of wickedness in Nigeria. Go collect your PVC is coming from the Labour Party. So, that is coming. Let's take one more. David Odoye, if you have been hearing about flood in Nigeria and how a dam in Cameroon related to it, but you still don't fully understand the full picture, this explain it as well. So it seems again the dam between the Cameroon and the Cameroon government are saying that it seems the Nigerian government have neglected their own part as well. Once again, this is Starr Radio UK, your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Okay, listeners, Mr. Olayomi Koiki for you, bringing you updates from Nigeria. It is Starr Radio UK. Now, Yomi, before we go,
well, as I leave you in the hands of Mr. Archie, make sure you do not turn off the broadcast. Follow us on the social media handles, but the best way to listen to us, also remember to download the Starr Radio UK apps. I'll be back again same time tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Once again, a very good morning to all our listeners and good afternoon for those of you that are already in that time zone.
All right, Yomi, have a lovely afternoon. We'll catch up later.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye. Well, listeners, that was Mr. Olayomi Koiki bringing you updates from Nigeria on Starr Radio UK. It comes your way every weekday from 11 o'clock. Yes, but the morning show starts at 10 o'clock where we bring you all the news that is making the rounds across the globe. And then we bring you the various segments where there is the update and then there are everything that you need to know there. But for now, we're going to be moving on. But I cannot do that without bringing you some lovely tune. This time round from the one and only Janet, and it's a Orila Demi. It's as an honorary member of the Yoruba Nation. I'm learning. I'll say good morning and enjoy this tune wherever you might be, and I'll be with you. Stay tuned. Don't touch the dial.
Sọ nípa orílẹ̀-èdè mi, òun sì forílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá. Yóò polongo fáráyé, èmi ò sọ nípa orílẹ̀-èdè yóò. Ohun tí mo fẹ́ ni mo fẹ́ o, èmi fòmìnira forílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá. Gbẹ̀rẹ̀ fún kọ̀lọ̀kọ̀lọ̀ rárá kò jọra. Ọmọ Oòduà dìde bọ́ sípò ẹ̀tọ́ bàbá rẹ̀. Èmi ò polongo fáráyé, èmi ò sọ nípa orílẹ̀-èdè mi. Ohun tí mo fẹ́ ni mo fẹ́ o, èmi fòmìnira forílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá. Mi ò polongo fáráyé, èmi ò sọ nípa orílẹ̀-èdè yóò. Ohun tí mo fẹ́ ni mo fẹ́ o, èmi fòmìnira forílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá. Ìlú tán lọ́rùn fẹ́ lọ lọ́rùn yọ. Èyí tó yàn ló tún ṣe lọ́gọ́. Bàbá fẹ́ wá, ó tún yọ wá. Wọ́n ṣe wá lọ́gọ́, ó tún wá fálùmọ́ ní sí. Èmi ò polongo fáráyé, èmi ò sọ nípa orílẹ̀-èdè mi. Ohun tí mo fẹ́ ni mo fẹ́ o, èmi fòmìnira forílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá. Mi ò polongo fáráyé, èmi ò sọ nípa orílẹ̀-èdè yóò. Ohun tí mo fẹ́ ni mo fẹ́ o, èmi fòmìnira forílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá. Ọlọ́run dìde jọ̀wọ́ má ṣe wòrán.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that tune. From Jeanette. For you, madam, I say one thing for sure. If you believe in your cause, just stand for it. Yes, at times you might end up losing everything for standing for the cause. But if you're convicted, you stand for your right. And I tell you, it's just a matter of time, it'll come your way. So on that note, let me say thank you very much to you all for tuning in to listen to us. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. A quick commercial break, a quick announcement before we take a commercial break. Now, we will be having at 1:30 today, once again, Baby May's Business with Baby Clement. And I will want you to join her in the program where she brings you everything that you need to know when it comes to your business. Okay, she means business. Now name it. It talks across board. So make sure you make a date with BB Clement this afternoon exactly at 1:30 on Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Bringing the time now to 11:48. Let's take a quick commercial break, and once we come back, we continue with the show. We're going to be looking at some of the stories making the rounds in Ghana and other parts of the world. Stay tuned.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy. Welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK. It's gone now exactly 9 minutes to the top of the hour, or 8 minutes to the top of the hour. That's 8 minutes to 12. But wherever you are, just add or subtract. Yes, this place is now GMT plus 1 or BST, British Summer Time. All right then, now let's crack on to some of the stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. Yes. And this time round, making the rounds in Ghana as well. Well, when it comes to the internal contest, let's put it that way, in the NDC, the biggest opposition party in Ghana at the moment, well, the general secretary, who has been, I think, since the inception of the NDC, or there have been a few of them. General Asiedu Nketia, General Mosquito, aka, seem to be going for the top job once again, not the presidential, but the chairmanship of the party, trying to wrestle his muscles against Ofosu Ampofu, who is the incumbent. But do you think that is a good deal? Some will say yes, it's democratic, and therefore let us all throw our hats in the ring and see what happens on that front. We're going to be looking more into it. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. And a very, very worrying story. I mean, in this part of the world, if you have, it doesn't matter, maybe an underage person is in love, or I don't know what to say, had a crush on you, or even the family has betrothed that person to you. If you have sex with underage person, it is a crime. Now, child marriage in Ghana, 1 out of 3 girls marry before age 18 in the north. Now some say that it's a ploy, it's a way of keeping them not to be promiscuous and stuff like that. I don't know, but I think that gone are the days when people just betroth their children to others, taking monies or virtually sell them off to them or exchange them for some financial inducement or something, so that they can sort of make ends meet as a family. Either they are enslaved, they take those children to go and work or go and serve in some big man's house or somebody. At times it's not that, but somebody who is more or better off than these families. But child marriage, I think it's about time that the leadership rise up to that. But the thing is, what can they do about it? Are they going to regulate rules or put out laws? Our houses of parliament, are they the legislature? Are they going to come up with some legislative instrument to stop people from doing that and prosecute them? Because a picture before me that I'm looking at, that child is like still a child who has got a child who has buried it. And I ask myself, the man who sleeps with that, I don't know, in this part of the world we call them pedos. So what exactly is going on when it comes to our world? Back in the day, we had when I was in the boarding house back in Ghana, and we have all those, they call them sugar daddies and sugar mummies, and they all having affairs with underage. When we were in secondary school, we were what, 14, 15, 16, and okay, there were a few of them who were matured, but one day that there will be a Me Too revolution in that part of the world. I bet you people will go down big time, big time. Well, now rescue yourself. My apology. Recuse yourself from Galamsey probe, Vitus Azim to special prosecutor. Why should he recuse himself? We're going to be looking into that story as well. Aisha Wang returns to court today. Now, how is that case going and what is going to happen? And then Okre Disk shut down a parade to Sorenya Road over rampant fatal crashes. I know that place like the back of my palm, and I know that place because I went to school at Edukrum, that's Nifa Secondary School. I was there in the boarding house, and then my mom hails from that place, Edukrum and Assisi, so that catchment area, and I know how the terrain is. And if you drive around those places, how it's like. Remember one time when I was traveling with two of my friends, I've forgotten the name of the one who was driving. He's died in blessed memory. And then the other one, John. Let me say good morning to you, John, of in the US as well. And then we traveled from the Ebri Mountains. We were going to Kuforidia to go visit a friend there. Doris, those are the days. I mean, when we were young. yes. Good morning to all of you there. If you are listening to us, and I remember it was drizzling, and we were driving. It was a Sunday morning, Sunday late morning, and then there was the way the car just pinned or spun around on the top of the mountain. I mean, virtually when we said Jesus and the car stopped. Now, one of the wheels or the tires was virtually in a hole. If not, we would have been toppled out and would have gone down the what do you call it, the valley. And I think by the time people would have recognized that we were there, we would have died. Well, so the Archie Disk dissect shut down the parade to Sorenya Road over rampant fatal crashes. Or are they not what do you call it, protection on the sides of the roads where they think that there's a tendency that a car can flip over and stuff like that? When you use the the Ebru road to Ekwapim I've forgotten where we have the some presidential palace there. I've forgotten the name of that place. But looking at all those things, looking at all the Pediasi, when you use the Pediasi route to the Okapen Range, I mean, there are walls, those fence walls, sort of short one, so that cars don't flip. So the thing is, if you cannot, if you've not gone through those training, how do you even try to drive on it? And especially when it comes to our signposting, it's very poor. But let me say good morning to Liz Dada. I say good morning, Mr. Archie. Good morning, Olayomi Koike. We say good morning to you. You miss Olayomi Koike, but don't you worry. You can go back to listen to the conversation that we had this morning. There is all coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. So let's start it. Now, two big names for a big party position is a kind of story headline that it fits for this kind of political race that is expected in Ghana's current biggest opposition party, the National Democratic Congress. On either side, both Johnson Nketia and Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo have credits of giant political achievement to write on, but now the two men have to face it off for the top position of chairmanship of the NDC. Now, while there is no official final list from the party, it already looks like there is going to be a straight fight between the two personalities, Seydou Nketia as the longest serving general secretary of the NDC and Ofosu-Ampofo as the one-term chairman seeking re-election. In this political pedigree article by some website, we take a look at all the things that put either these two candidates ahead of each other. One of them, currently the chairman of the NDC, Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo, had declared his intention to for the re-election. This is due to the fact that his election as chairman in November 2018 comes to an end, and he will need a reaffirmation of his performance through another endorsement from his party members. But it has been a long political career for him, starting off in this trade in 1994. When he was appointed as the district chief executive for the Fantiakwa North District of the Eastern Region by Jerry John Rawlings. In 1996, he ran for parliament on the ticket of the NDC in the same district and won, representing the people of the constituency until he lost his third election bid in 2004 to the New Patriotic Party candidate Kwadwo Ejei Ado. Now, having served in the second and third parliament of the Fourth Republic of Ghana, Ofosu-Ampofo again tried his shot at the parliamentary seats in 2008 but got unlucky once more. His next political job came when he won the national organizer position of the NDC, but on the assumption of power in 2009, John Evans Atta Mills appointed him the regional minister for the Eastern Region. Now, Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo then moved on from there to serve as Minister for Local Government and Rural Development, his last political portfolio before he was elected as the NDC National Chairman in 2018. Now, under his tenure, he was successful in helping the party and John Dramani Mahama in wresting power from the Nana Akufo-Addo government in 2020 general election. But that loss gave the country a historic win. The first time Parliament is hung with a split of a perfect number of members of Parliament, as well as the Speaker of Parliament being a member of the position for the first time ever. Now, some of the examples stated that one of his achievements is that the party had become more attractive under his leadership. He has also likened himself to the biblical Jesus Christ. My goodness. Now, Jesus said to them, the blind see, the lame walk, the deaf hear. What more do you want to see? Well, I am the national chairman of the NDC, and the party was in disarray due to our humiliating defeat in 2016, since it was not attractive at the time. But I played key roles together with my team to turn around fortunes of the party during the 2020 elections. Well, he didn't win an election, or he couldn't help them to win an election. So do you think he is fit to be the next chairman of the still continue in his role as the chairman of the party? I want to know what you think. Now, when it comes to Johnson, I say, don't get here. The man popularly known as General Mosquito is the face of the other main contender for the national chairmanship of the party. Yeah. And it goes on further to say, as a current general secretary of the NDC, he's one of the most powerful people in the party, having served in their role since 2005. So virtually 17 years he's been in that position. Now, born on December 24, 1956, Saikwa in the Bronga Hafo region, he trained in petty trading at Peteshi, distilling palm wine, tapping and drinking bar. Oh my goodness. Wow, he's been in a distillery. Now, after educating himself in the University of Ghana, he practiced as a banker before entering into politics. His entrance onto the political scene came when he contested and won the Wenchi District Assembly elections of 1989, following which he was elected at the Consultative Assembly in 1992. He held the position for 12 years, being part of the team that drafted Ghana's current constitution, the 1992 Constitution. In 1992, he entered Parliament as the Member of Parliament for the Wenchi West constituency and served for 12 years. During his time in Parliament, he served on several committees such as the Appointments Committee, Finance Committee, Public Accounts Committee, Chairman, Mines and Energy Committee, and Minority Spokesperson on Food, Agriculture and Cocoa Affairs. Now, from 1997 to 2001, he served as Deputy Minister for Food and Agriculture. After he decided to say goodbye to parliamentary work, he stood for the General Secretary position of the NDC and won overwhelmingly in 2005 party election. As the third General Secretary of the party, he led the party to win the 2008 and 2012 elections, giving the country Presidents John Evans Atta Mills and John Dramani Mahama. There have been several achievements according to his credit, including the same glory his other contender Samuel Ofosu Ampofo boasts of, giving Ghana its first hung parliament and first speaker of parliament from the opposition party. After serving as General Secretary of the NDC for 17 years, he has announced the hanging of those boots and the desire to continue to lead the party, by this time as the national chairman. Do you think that he should have just continued in a capacity as the General Secretary and let Ofosu Ampofo continue as the chairman? Or do you think a change will work there? What do you think? I want to know what is going on there. Okay? Yes, who do you think will be a better chairman, looking at all the pedigree that I put across? But it's all Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, Western Regional Minister, Deputy Lands Minister, and MCEs behind Galamsey in my jurisdiction, Dumping, Pipesa chief is saying. Now, the story says that the Dumping Pipesa chief has alleged that the Western Regional Minister Kwabena Ochiridako Mensah, Deputy Lands Minister George Miracle Duka, and the Takwa Nswain Chief Executive Benjamin Kisi are behind illegal mining in the area. Nana Yowa Apenyin the 6th said he has incontrovertible evidence of their involvement in the activity in the area. As a result, he has dared them to sue him if they believe he is damaging their reputation without proof. Wow. He's got the balls. Now, speaking yesterday, he said that he will do whatever possible within his means to ensure the canker is stopped within his jurisdiction. According to Nana Yunwapenyin, the fourth? Yeah, the fourth. My apology. He has received several threats for his stance, but he is unfazed. I know not of any company, but I know of the very people who are behind the operation of Galamsey in my area. Now, first and foremost, the regional minister, Kwabena Dako Mensah, is involved. The MP for the area, Takwa Nswem, Honorable George Miracle Duka, is also involved. And the MC, Benjamin Kisi, is also involved. I told you, I am not going to disclose my arsenals to you. Now, interestingly, they said they were going to sue, so let them sue. I'll let out my arsenal at the right time, he alleged. When quizzed about how he feels about the effect of the canker within his jurisdiction, he said he is heartbroken. Now, this is a chief who has come out. Will he have his subjects supporting him, or do they think that it's a means to an end? What do you think? I would love to know what you think about all that is going on. It's not coming away from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Just touching on a few stories from Ghana as well. Well, we will protest against you if things don't change by December, Prince David is saying. And this story talks about an actor, Prince David, who is saying he will mobilize a non-partisan youth protest against President Akufo-Addo if the current economic challenges do not improve by December. According to him, the current state of the economy requires urgent actions to salvage the situation. In an Instagram post, the TV personality said, even though the youth are investing their maximum efforts, they are still finding it difficult to make ends meet. Now, given the situation, the actor expressed his disappointment in the current regime and warned that he will be part of a demonstration if the economic situation does not change for the better. I decided to give you and your government the benefit of the doubt. I reckon was wrong. The youth of this nation are not smiling. It paused, but we are still sweating. Well, I think people are daring government now, but it's now 11 minutes past 12, the morning show. Now, child marriage, 1 out of 3 girls are married out before age 18 in Ghana. What do you think? Especially those of us who hail from Africa. The African Education Watch, that EdWatch, a policy think tank, has observed that girls educated to the secondary school level and beyond are 95% less likely to become victims of child marriage. So it's more to do with education, and when that child gets into education and feels, whoa, I love this, they will not be able to be turned. However, the time is now for government and stakeholders to make more targeted investment to provide equitable, quality education and skills training for girls, especially those from poor households, and resource social protection and justice sector institutions to combat child marriage. EdWatch urged in a statement to mark the International Day of the Girl. This year's theme, Our Time is Now, Our Rights, Our Future, according to EdWatch, re-emphasize the need to deepen commitments and actions towards enhancing the rights of girls across the world. EdWatch, in its statement, further maintained that the underlying condition for a child marriage-free society is a strong foundation of education and skills training for girls, especially the poor. Now, about 1 in 4 girls aged 15 to 19 are not in education, employment, or training. There are an estimated 418,000 out of school children in Ghana. Many of them are girls due to economic and social cultural factors such as child marriage. According to UNICEF, on the average, 1 out of 5 girls in Ghana is married before the 18th birthday, a situation that affects their ability to complete basic and secondary education or venture into any form of skills or vocational training. For the policy think tank, the situation is dire in northern Ghana, where 1 out of 3 girls married before age 18. At the just ended Global Citizens Festival, President Akufo-Addo committed to mobilize resources towards ending child marriage in Ghana and Africa. Now, are we putting the cart before the horse or what? Well, I want to have your take on that. Maybe you think that, well, maybe marrying them out stops promiscuous behavior, as some allude to, or what do you think? I would like to hear what you think on that front. And then the UEW reschedules exam interrupted by agitating students. The story says management of the University of Education, Winneba, has issued a communique outlining strict measures that university has taken in resolving all academic results by final year students. The release comes on the back of Monday's demonstration by final year students of the university. Some level 400 students of the University of Ghana, Winneba, demonstrated against the management of the university amid a boycott of their end of semester exams over challenges with their grading system. The students contend management has not shown any urgency in resolving their complaints. They insisted it is a deliberate ploy by school authorities not to release their results on the student portal. However, a statement issued by the registrar, Olayomi Tete Mensah, said management have decided that the earlier interruption of examination by the agitated students will be rescheduled. Now, this is to inform all students of the University of Education, Winneba, that the conduct of the end of semester examination for the 2021-2022 academic year will take place as scheduled. The ones that were interrupted by students will be rescheduled. All deans and heads of department are to note and act accordingly and communicate the dates to their students when rescheduled, the statement has said. Okay, yes, this is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, I wanted the story of the office, the special prosecutor, but it seemed to elude me. But I think we might have to just move on from there. But that was the last story I wanted to bring before we move on. But it seemed to hide somewhere. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. It's because I'm seeing some stories. Okay, let's take a quick commercial break before we move on to the other side of the show. Stay tuned, don't you go away.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Welcome Welcome back to the program. 90 minutes past the top of the hour. That's 90 minutes past 12. And my producer said, you didn't announce the lines open. Well, the lines are open. You want to join in the conversation, feel free to do so. Hop on, hop in, and make your voice heard. Or you can put your comments on our Facebook page or Twitter or YouTube or Periscope or whichever platform that you are listening to us from. Just make sure that we hear from you. It is 02081332257 or 580208133257 or 58. Those of you in the US, Canada, the Caribbean area, it is 0017183032737 0017183032737. You can also text or WhatsApp us, you know. It is 07539661744 07539661744. Our Twitter handle is Starr Radio UK, and our email address is info@starradiouk.com. All right then. So now let's move on. Now, okay, one story from Ghana pertaining to the office of the Special Prosecutor Kisi Ejabe. And let me bring that your way, and then we move on from there. Okay. Wow. The Chinese national Aisha Wan, who is in the court for her involvement in illegal mining activities in Ghana, has been remanded to police custody by the Criminal Division of the Accra High Court. Now, presiding Judge Lydia Osei-Mafo, during sitting on Friday, October 11, 2022, refused the plea of her lawyer, Ifa Date Nkrabia, after the latter argued his client deserved bail. According to the judge, all argument previously made against his plea for bail, including the flight risk of his client, remain and will not be changed. She added that his constant presence in court with his client may, however, inform any future considerations. The case has since been adjourned to October 24, 2022 for the case management. Okay, so that is some updates coming from Ghana on the Aisha Wan story there for you, for those who are following that story. And also, the Circuit Court in Accra has remanded patient Esiedua, popularly known as Nana Grada, into lawful custody for the next 3 days. This was after she pleaded not guilty to charges of charlatanic advertisement. Okay, a man has been washed away while okay, oh my goodness. A man has been washed away by the sea while trying to do his business in the sea. I think a man believed to be in his early 20s has been washed away by heavy tidal waves while in the sea at Anumabo in the Fansiman municipality of the Central Region. There are some stories making there are deaths. All local contractors creating unemployment. The Ghana Chamber of Construction Industry says the government's inability to pay monies owed to local contractors is compounding the unemployment situation in the country. That's what they've said this morning. Now let me bring you the final story before we leave Ghana. The office of the Special Prosecutor probes Apunta Mining, Charles Bisu and others. The office of the Special Prosecutor has commenced investigation into suspected corruption and corruption-related offences regarding illegal small-scale mining, also known as Galamsey in Ghana. A statement issued by the OSP yesterday said the investigation will target some officials of the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources and Forestry. The investigation includes the active and ongoing inquiry into allegations of use of public office for profit against Charles Bisu during his work at the IMCIM following the infamous investigative documentary titled Galamsey Fraud Part 1, published by the Tiger Eye PI. It also targets the activities and expenditure of the dissolved Inter-Ministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, the IMCIM, especially in respect of the seizure and management of machinery, road excavators, vehicles, and gold nuggets. The investigation further targets the activities of Akunta Mining, Limited and other companies, nationals of foreign countries allegedly involved in illegal mining, and allegations of corruption and corruption-related offenses against some municipal and district chief executives and political party officials. Well, so we'll be following it very closely to see what happens there. Is it going to be a whitewash and then we just move on, or is it going to be a case where he digs into it and makes sure that those who are found culpable are actually punished for their act? I hope that they are not going to be burning all these machinery, destroying them, saying that, well, okay, but well, whatever you are and wherever you are, good morning once again, good afternoon once again. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, 1224. Now, heat wave will make entire regions uninhabitable within decades, and that's what the story that's making the rounds. Now, heat waves will become extreme, so extreme in certain regions of the world that human life there will be unsustainable. The UN, United Nations, and the Red Cross said on Monday. Heat waves, as they say, is predicted to exceed human physiological and social limits in the Sahel, the Horn of Africa, and South and Southwest Asia, with extreme events triggering large-scale suffering and loss of life. The organization has said the heat wave catastrophes this year in countries like Somalia, Pakistan, foreshadows. Let me take it again. Heat wave catastrophes this year in countries like Somalia and Pakistan foreshadow a future with deadlier, more frequent, and more intense heat-related humanitarian emergencies, they warned in a joint report. The UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs and the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Society released a report in advance of next month's UN COP27 Climate Change Summit in Egypt. But the question that is on the lips of most people is that, are we too late? Can we do anything about it? If you look at the number of our population, the people that, do you think that we can do anything to stop this thing from happening? Or is it just a matter of time? So we just throw our hands in the air and just get on with it. We all die, we die. We just go on, and when it comes, we go. Or if it doesn't, maybe we stay on and see what to do. What do you think about all that? Well. That is what the UN and some other affiliated bodies are saying this morning. Now let's move on to some other stories on the African front as well. Ebola outbreak in Uganda, 17 confirmed dead. On the 5th of October, the World Health Organization reported 29 deaths in the country from Ebola since the start of the epidemic. But what do you think is going to happen there as well? It's quite a scary one. But we hope beyond hope that things will take along nicely. Now let's move on straight to Ethiopia as well. The Ethiopian president Sahle-Work Zewde, or Zewde. Okay, I hope that I'm not massacring her name. If she's listening to me this morning, saying that this man seemed to be massacring my name. Yes, I think I hope that I pronounced it very, very well. Now, Zewde made the call while addressing the Ethiopian Parliament on Monday on the budget for the next fiscal year. The government has stated clearly that it will always keep the door open for peace. We continue to urge for negotiation without conditions. Now, believing that any form of differences may be resolved through discussions, says Zewde. She, however, stated that at the same time, the government of Ethiopia will not tolerate any provocation by the TPLF. The President Zewde's remarks come at a time the long-awaited AU brokered peace talks in South Africa were postponed without any new date set. The meeting between the warring sides in the 2-year-old conflict in Tigray would have been the first since a ceasefire broke down in late August. But do you think a talk now or a jaw now would do it for them? Well, if it will, why not? If it will, why not? That is what most people are asking this morning. But, well, I've got with me Mr. Frank Davis, who is in the house as well. Let me acknowledge him. Frank, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Archie, and good afternoon to our listeners. Olame, good afternoon to you for a good job done.
How are you?
Archie, I'm well. I am very well.
Good. He's been busy doing some stuff.
You know, these are handy ways.
Yes.
God has given out the hands. So let's use them judiciously. You know?
Good. Okay, let's a quick one. Let's hop on straight to one of the stories in Ghana. I said Nketia and Ofosu Ampofo. Do you think it's the right course? Do you think they need to go head to head to fight for the leadership? I think that because when it comes to such competition or something, you end up seeing people washing their dirty linen off each other, trying to outwit them. Because I just earlier on I just read a few of their achievements as individuals in the party. So you have to dig the dirt on somebody to make the person unpopular so that you can take the reins. But do you think it's a good thing at this time? I think that maybe Nketia should stay where he is, and then for example, or if Nketia said it's had enough, let him leave and let somebody take that, so that they can be united rather than what do you think?
As a contest doesn't mean we fighting.
Okay,
a contest is a contest. And for me, I think probably before I even go to that, we should have had a verse of rules. I see Nketia should have gone to the chairman, contest the chairmanship,
and then he contest for the general secretary.
I mean, he also come to contest for the general secretary.
In Russia, Putin and
actually, you see, Asiedu has held that position for very, very long time.
17 years.
Very 17 years. He's been involved in politics and the formation of NDC. I mean, with Jerry and others, so he understands the party in and out. He's a very respected man within the party, a very smart, shrewd, and intelligent man. But if you sit down with him and talking to him, you think he's a very brainy and smart guy. If he's deciding to step up now to be the chairman, I think he just want to get involved and still be relaxed a bit, because the general secretary is basically the driver of the DC. And I think he might want to, if he can win, he might want to use that position to help whoever will be the general secretary, instead of just sitting back and say, okay, yes, I'm going to give up, but I mean, let's coach from the behind. I think he still wants to get involved. Well, for some people who talk of his involvement from Frontier Quad becoming the deputy, what they call minister, becoming the local government minister. He's saying what they call, he led a party to having equal number of votes. It's almost like But actually, within a party, I think there's a split between Ofosu Ampofo and General, and it's going to be a tough battle. How Ofosu is going to survive it, I do not know.
I see.
Because Asiedu is a very small, but he's a bulldozer. I mean, when it comes to politics, I don't know, but I want to see them go head on.
Now, when we talk about the camps, I mean, we talk about the Mahama camp, we talk about Dr. Dufuo's camp. Where do they all belong to?
Very difficult. Asiedu is someone who will not give it out. I mean, one thing I do know is that on authority, is that Asiedu Nketia, if he didn't want to contest the last general secretaryship,
okay,
and that is where Koku Anyindo and him had a bit of a battle. In fact, it was an afterthought. So it was last minute that people I know, like Kofi Ato, Mahama themselves, Mahama himself and others got involved and said, look, General, you can't leave us at this time. We need you at this battlefront. And I think it was a right decision because everything that had gone on has proven that Kukwanyido was not committed to the cause. And in fact, there's a report and there's audio that is available to some selected few. I've heard the audio. That during the 2016 election, just after the election, Kukwanyido make a very strategic call to someone. Someone, and that call was to celebrate the defeat of Mahama.
Oh wow!
And certain comments followed that comment, and he was recorded. And that audio, I've listened to part of it. He made a call to a journalist. That journalist is still alive today, still has the audio. But a selected few had that audio. So him going to be the general secretary was a no for certain people.
Okay.
And that's why they drafted in what they call Asiedu last minute. That's why you see this guy so bitter that he had, because he was a deputy.
Yeah.
He had a conversation with Asiedu, and Asiedu Keja gave indication that he wasn't going to go.
Just get on.
And that is why he thinks that Asiedu stabbed him
in the back. Okay.
But it was his own conduct in 2016. The ghosts, the people he killed in 2000, the ghosts.
no, not killing.
Not killing. Yeah. I mean, he didn't commit murder.
Virtual
expression. Yeah. The ghosts actually had lived on and were hunting him during that contest. So basically, that is what we seen. Now that's what happened in 2018. That's why he lost that election. But as we see it here now, you see wherever Mahama goes, you see Ofusuan Popo following.
Yeah.
You see where you really hardly see a General Seydou Nketia like that.
Yeah.
So I do believe it's going to be a beautiful contest. I want them to contest. The same thing at the General Secretary today, Fifi Kote and Elvis Afrie. Personally, if you ask me, I
think I would have said Fifi Kote should be
the General Secretary.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean naturally Fifi Kote should have been the General Secretary, and I think, and I've told both of them openly without hiding it, that I think you're going to have a striker who wants to be the midfielder. In fact, Elvis, in my view, is an organizing candidate. In fact, I campaigned for Elvis when I was at Legon. When he was becoming this thing. I was one of his campaign boys at that time, and I think the guy is very good. He is very smart. He wants to get things done, and I think his best position would have been the organizer. To go there. Fifi, Elvis is not that meticulous.
Like so Fifi should be the General Secretary.
But that's another battle. But again, I mean, there was a day I was invited to have a discussion or something. And I said, look, the loss will be for NDC, because if one of these guys win the general secretaryship and does not include the other guy in running the party, they're going to have, because the two of them are equally competent enough. But I would have thought that if Elvis had consulted enough and had decided to step into the organizing and then Fifi be the secretary, it would have been the perfect administration that would you have seen. Probably Asiedu as the chairman, Fifi as a decent. I would have want my brother, is a good friend of mine, Utukuno, to remain. I mean, the deputy. And again, he's the head of their school. Anyway, you know, they have a democratic school.
Oh, I see.
He's Dr. Utukuno. He's now the head of that.
Okay.
So I would have wished he remains there. But we're now going to have two contests. Elephants fighting. Antelope fighting.
And I'm worried about that.
Don't worry. I mean,
because
it out.
you know, in politics, your opponents are always looking for something that somebody will say and say, yes, we got that. So, well, I hope that they don't fight dirty. They fight fair, and then whoever wins. Okay. Well, listen, this is Starr Radio UK. Let me say good afternoon to Dave West again. He says good afternoon to Mr. Frank. Welcome back.
Thank you, Dave West and Jane.
Jenny. Yeah. Okay, let's a quick one on the African front. We're looking at this Ethiopian war that's taking place, civil war,
needless
war, and then the AU were trying to broker a peace deal. I mean, they postponed it. I don't know what is going on, but it looks like the president of Ethiopia is saying that, look, we want to talk, we want to jaw instead of just going on and on and on. Is it that they are looking at the losses on both sides? Actually, and I think that there's no need for...
Whichever way you look at it, Ethiopia, that whole area, I mean, it's still Ethiopia, whether it's Tigray or whatever they call it. And I do not think you're a president, and it doesn't matter whatever the division, the loss of life, even if it's a single soul, it's a bit of a problem. Again, you scare investors away because they don't know what will happen. It's having a lot of implications. You know, even tourism is having a lot of implications. But you see, actually, it reflects to me, and for me in particular, it reflects the dysfunctioning of the AU as an organization. Mind you, AU headquarters is in Ethiopia. Right? So if you have a conflict in that country, it tells you that AU itself is dysfunctional. It's dysfunctional. They are not able to solve the problem close to their own HQ. Is it because it's not affecting Addis Ababa? But it's still Ethiopia. As to why they've not been able to broker a peace deal is something that is beyond my imagination, because I think with all the diplomats that we have over there, they should have been able to at least get that and then say, okay, at least peace should reign over here. You know, they should have succeeded in getting that in them, but it's a shame. It's a shame that the headquarters to Africa, we call the gateway to Africa diplomacy, is now engulfed in conflict. That is what it is.
You are in conflict. How can you come and resolve the conflict in my chamber?
Yes, and that's why you even see that if there's a war, if there should be a war in Nigeria today, there will be two fleets. We've seen it even. They're not able to even mobilize. But now we should have a standing force. That tribe, a peacekeeping force, to show that we are capable. It's Africa. A black man is capable of managing his own affairs. You should be able to show that they are capable of maintaining and sustaining peace and peaceful coexistence across the continent. I get me. And for me, it's an indictment on whatever we're trying to do as Africa. But one thing I love about what the president of Ethiopia has said is that they're ready for talks without preconditions. That for me is key. Without they might have conditions, no lies, but they are saying, look, we are open-minded. Let's have a conversation. Let's engage. Let's see what we can do as brothers and sisters. For me, it's a no-brainer. Let's give it a chance.
Okay, let's give it a chance. Starr Radio UK. Now, one other story. I mean, I think a few years back, there were ivory tusks that were found in Kenya. And then we just saw the bonfire that was
stupidity and foolishness.
And then we have in Ghana when people were undertaking Galamsey, and then the military had gone in there, confiscated earth moving machines, where there are some roads that are so deplorable that all that they can just do is just use some of them just to cut it so that people can drive on it safely, and they burn it. And then we have Nigeria, where crude oil is in a vessel. Now this vessel, when it was, the security agencies said to now have found it, let's go on to just set it ablaze. And you ask yourself, are we dumb-headed or is it stupidity?
Actually, to some extent, they want to show that, well, we will come at you with the full force and destroy, and you cannot profit for whatever you do. You will record again in Nigeria that was it the kidnapper, the kingpin of the kidnapper?
Yeah.
They used bulldozers to go and
bulldoze his house.
Beautiful mansion. Yeah. When that place can be converted to probably a needy home, a clinic, a hospital, they will tell you we don't want it to symbolize what do you call it, to be there for people to see. But what I do know in this country, even if they confiscate something, they go to auction and sell them. They use some to defray their own causes. Some of these cars that they seize, they take some to auction. Those that can be used as scrap, they sell them to scrap yard and other things. In Ghana, for instance, people have said, oh, it's good they are banned because when they are there, people smuggle them back. You see, the inability and the failure to be able to police and punish those who are involved in against selling, because we understand some of them were even taken to Ivory Coast and Nigeria and Burkina Faso to sell. And again, they change their number plates and sell it to people, and then they are going back. But if you have a chain of people along the line who take bribe, who do all this, that does not mean that you should be destroying a lot. Because if you take a bulldozer, for instance, you look at $250 now $500,000.
Okay.
I mean, to be depending on how many hours it has on a clock, to be able to, it's not something that you go and buy. It's not a Koda Okohin. It's not a Tico. It's not a Kia Picanto that you can just chuck away. This is a machine, like you said. A lot of rules are there that can be. Government should be able to use them, but we stupidly and foolishly think that banning them is. I have friends who argue day and night that it's good to ban them, but I'm not saying that. I say from a resource point of view.
That's right.
I mean, these are resources. These are monies that are going down in flame, because whatever you look at it, the manufacturer, the dealership, the shipment and everything, they pass the caterpillar over there. Someone made money by selling it, and someone in Ghana paid for it, which is our wealth that is being sent to the the manufacturer. So I would have wished that the confiscate this, even each constituency should have 1, 2, 3 to be doing plan their report to feeder routes and other things. But hey, no. Nigerians, I don't know why they said that ablaze. Why can't they confiscate it? It's a mentality that actually is very, very difficult to be able to understand how we operate.
Maybe we need to wash our brains with maybe which
probably bleach.
Okay, maybe we need to bleach it. It will be pure. Wow. Listen, it's Starr Radio UK. We've got about another 14 minutes to go. But as I announced earlier on this afternoon, we're going to be having BB Means Business with Baby Clement. So make sure you make a date with her. All right, then. Now, moving on to some other stories making the rounds. Yes. Looting and clashes as anger boils over Haiti. Now the story says at least one woman was reportedly killed as protesters clashed with police in Haitian cities on Monday. Now police confronted demonstrators as anti-government protests descended in looting. Anger has been boiling over a gang violence that has sprawled out of control, disrupting shipment of fuel and food. The Prime Minister Ariel Henry has asked for foreign assistance, but the call has been criticized by some Haitians who see it as foreign interference. In the capital, Port-au-Prince, protesters erected burning barricades out of tires and threw stones at police, who in turn fired tear gas. Some protesters proceeded to loot a hotel. Now, with this hardship, the cost of living crisis, with this events that is going on in Russia, Ukraine, I mean, it's brought about so much hardship that I mean it's difficult for governments to actually say that they can do something about it. But it's a case where I see the Haitians actually trying to fight for their living, but their government is coming strongly against them. Let's take a call from Felix, who is on. Felix, good afternoon to you. Hello, Felix. Hello, Felix. Hello, Felix.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Go on.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm okay. Just a quick one.
Yeah, go on.
You see, this issue about burning of confiscated assets.
Yeah.
On the face of it, it looks very foolish. On the face of it, doesn't look very intelligent. But you have to remember that we do have a history, and the history is that our institutions and the personnel who run our institutions are very corrupt.
Yeah. Okay.
Let me take you back 2008. There was a consignment of cocaine that apparently was seized by the Ghanaian authorities.
Yeah.
Yes.
When the court case came into play, it ended up being the case to date that nobody has seen what happened to that cocaine.
Yeah.
And apparently what was shown in court was not actually cocaine but kokonte. And there's a history of that. It's not only in our country, where authorities who have seized assets, like Frank was saying, in other countries, possibly after a period of time, the courts will declare that these assets can be auctioned to members of the public. But in our case, they get missing. So that is the problem. So maybe you've seen what has happened in, I think, is it the Elembele district also?
Yeah.
Where the district chief executive went to a place that apparently Galamsey was going on.
Yeah.
Through his own efforts, was able to get some members of the police to take these equipment to the police station. And today, what has happened to those equipment? Apparently, they vanished into thin air. I remember the 500 or so excavators that sort of vanished into thin air.
Yeah.
So that is the problem. Our institutions are so corrupt that sometimes it gets to a certain stage, people start taking decisions that you may think doesn't make sense, but within the context has some reason behind it. Because frankly, if you think that these escalators are destroying your environment, they're destroying the land, and yet you don't have a police force that you can trust, that they can hold on to these equipment after they've been seized, so that they can be appropriately distributed to maybe, I don't know, parks and gardens, highways, departments of rural roads, and so on and so forth. If you don't believe that these institutions can even distribute these things properly, we are talking about excavators here. We are not talking about things that you can put in your pocket that are critical evidence. We are not talking about something you can put in the back of your car that nobody will see.
Yeah.
We are talking about the excavators vanish into thin air. So what then do you do?
Okay. The best thing is just
it doesn't make sense on the face of it, seeing excavators being burnt. Whereas the same Ghanaian government would then look for dollars, go abroad to go and buy them. And these equipment are very expensive. Whether you buy them second hand or whether you buy them brand new from the factory. So they are very expensive. So they are not things that ideally our countries, not only in Ghana, not only in Kenya, not only in Nigeria, should be burned. But what do you do in that context? If you remember the question for Ivory, it was the case that, look, after these things have been seized, people then got those same ivory on the black market.
Yeah.
And that was the reason behind having them been burned, so that they will not go through the hands of the corrupt authorities and then end up on the black market as it was. You know, it would be ideal if we had a police force like they have in Botswana, a police force you can trust.
Yeah.
Then that one, fair enough. But what do you do when you have a very corrupt police force, and it has been historically corrupt? And it seems like people they enjoy the idea that we are the Ghana police, we are corrupt. What do you do with that sort of situation, or in that situation? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. We're listening.
Yes. I mean, what do you do in that situation? I mean, look at is it land registry department in Ghana? See how corrupt that institution is. Would you trust your legitimate land title with them? Because there are people there who are duplicating these documents all the time.
Yeah. But can't we do something to correct the system instead of losing out? Because in all this, it is the nation, it is the continent that is losing out.
Yeah.
What can we do? Can we?
I don't know what can be done. To be told, I don't have any answers to it, because it seems like the people that we elect into politics or into government are also happy to protect their corrupt interests, as we have seen in our country. In recent days, where somebody claims, well, not that he claims, somebody went on a radio station and told the world that he has he's been given the right to go and do prospecting in a forest reserve. The forest reserve, the Forestry Commission came out straight without wasting time at all to say that no, we have not given you any right to go and prospect in this forest reserve. The person happens to be the regional chairman of the party in government. What has happened to him?
Nothing.
George?
Nothing.
Nothing has happened to him. So what then do you do in that case? You are left with very limited options.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, but one of the options is what Jerry Rawlings did in 1979.
Yeah.
Because you don't trust the courts. I mean, let's be honest. Unless you are the party in government, who really trusts these courts? So where do you really go to go and seek justice? Where do you really go to make sure that a confiscated asset of yours, you can fight for it in the courts? Because even if you spend money fighting for that, for the return of your assets in court, by the time the asset, well, it depends whether you even get the asset back. I mean, you know of some of the brothers here or some of the sisters here who have sent cars home.
Yeah.
And then what has happened to them? The car gets home. They don't have the money to pay for the customs charges or the import tariffs on the car. Before they realize the car is being sold to somebody at a knockdown price.
Oh God, have mercy on us.
But what then do you do? And I mean, this is not even at the government level, even at our own private family levels. Our own family members are running us, isn't it? In our own Ghanaian English, they're trying to screw us up.
Yeah.
So we
so, I mean, there are many people in our private lives who don't speak with their own relatives anymore because they sent money home for something to be done for them. They go home, either the thing has not been done, or if it's been done at all, it's been shabbily done, and you ask yourself, for all the toils and all the struggles and all the things that I've gone through decades here, is that what I get in return? So it's a system of corruption that is so entrenched that even people who are put in authority, who have all the largesse of government, Supreme Court justices, everything is paid for them. Even their medical treatment abroad will be paid by the state. They can't even sit down and issue judgments on the courts that you say that these people are thinking according to what their conscience is telling them. So in that situation, what do you do? If you happen to be the chief, what they call it, ranger at Mole National Park, and you are responsible for making sure that, I don't know whenever these people will decide to invade the Mole National Park, but if you decide that you want to keep the place, if you decide that you want to keep the place the way it's supposed to be for the environment, and you catch maybe somebody who is not a Ghanaian national trying to kill some of the elephants over there and take away the tusk, if you have maybe even tusk of elephants that have naturally died and you've kept them somewhere, will you be sure that it will be there forever?
It won't be,
because you know that the ivory, it fetches a lot of money, and you may have spent the last 20-30 years of your life living on meager sums of money for the interest of the environment and for the interest of your country. But when you have corrupt officials around you, do you think that a garage or a storeroom full of elephant tusks will be kept there forever? Because when these people are finished with the gold, they will move on to the elephant.
Yeah, it's true.
It's serious. It's serious, Archie. It's serious.
I just wish you could have an agency you can trust. Because if you look at a country called Ghana, is there any particular agency that you can trust?
No.
That is the point.
None.
If you look at the special prosecutor, yesterday he issued a letter that he's investigating Galamsey and this thing. Actually, the truth of the matter is that this issue about those Galamsey, Charles Bisu and other thing came up in 2018. The investigation was done in 2017, came out in 2018 when that gallant stop and interministerial committee and they say. Interestingly enough, the special prosecutor is the chief counsel for Anas Amria.
Yeah.
Right. So at the end of the day, even if he decides to prosecute, he has to rescue himself from that.
Yeah.
What has he been waiting for? Till this time, he took office not today. It's almost a year or a year now. Why has he not looked at this? Why has that office not looked at this? Now that the focus and the pressure is now coming on the president, people are beginning to speak out that it is your own people
who are involved in that.
I mean, look at Akunta Mining, which is who belong to me. We have no business entering a forest reserve, which is a crime in itself. Now that the public is calling on a swift action, the special prosecutor just issued a letter saying they are investigating. What are they investigating?
We'll see what that charge.
It's just a matter of diverting attention. Actually, these are games. These are all games. It's a matter of diverting attention. It's a matter of watering down the importance of the issue. It's a matter of saying, okay, let's stop talking about it because I've taken over. Are you getting me? It doesn't help. And the president says he's putting the presidency online, and here we are. He has admitted failure. Now they are speaking. How many times have we not heard key MPP members saying MPP
a chief today in the Western region had come.
I said Akufo-Addo himself is a beneficiary of a direct recipient of beneficiary of the Galamsey process, because at the end of the day, Archie, Charles Bishop was telling that Wontumi donated that towards their campaign and other elections. Although the video contradicts what he says. Wontumi pump money into whose campaign? Akufo-Addo's campaign. Again, when Akufo-Addo said, and there's a video one day I'll send it to you, when Akufo-Addo said, "Yeah, Tisikasuna so come the year." Literally, what he meant was that we're sitting on gold. Actually, because that's it. There was a day Wontumi was in one of his studios and was showcasing gold because it was in his bag. And so this is exactly what gold looks like. Paper that you have is not money. The gold is this solid, and he was removing bars of gold. I mean, putting on the table in the studio, full glare the camera, and someone over there said,
"Oh, thieves!"
No, you couldn't go there, man. And someone over there, "When Sika Wesu Nayeti." So Archie, what the president said, actually, the genesis of this started from President Kufuor's time, when they sent some youths to China to learn about mining, how to efficiently mine. Wontumi was part of those guys to learn about small-scale mining. When they came back, what they were supposed to do into small-scale mining is not what they are doing. And that is what the idea came down. Look, we can mine and profit our nation from it, which is not a bad idea.
Environmental destruction.
Actually, you can mine without destroying the environment at the rate at which it's going. And those were the briefing Akufo-Addo had. So all he was saying, it is council of comedy. We're sitting on gold, we're sitting on mineral resources. That's when they came. You look at Sano Hydro, Atiwa Forest, all those agendas from Ajapa and other things. Look at their thinking. Their thinking has always been about exploitation of resources in the belly of the earth of Ghana, and that's what they be doing. So the Sika Swayeti, didn't you hear in that video that they say party no here Sika?
Yeah.
What is it about? All this community, all this community mining was to give and equip MPP boys to go into mining. Not bad agenda. I don't have a problem with it. But we say the problem Akufo-Addo made and the mistake he made is that he played too much politics with the whole concept, the whole idea. There's nothing wrong our people mine because Anglo Gold, they even sold the rest of our shares in Anglo Gold to the Chinese.
Yeah.
So we have 0 shares in Anglo Gold as we speak.
You don't mean that?
Oh, I mean it. We have 0 shares in Anglo Gold today because the rest were sold by Akufo-Addo to the Chinese.
Was it used as a surety or so?
Archie, whatever they use it for, all we know is that we have 0 shares. It wasn't a bad idea, but Archie, Akufo-Addo should have engaged mining engineers, experts who mine, who know how to mine sustainably without destroying. But no, he played politics with it. They saw it as an opportunity to enrich the party boys. And that is where they got it wrong. Because we could mine sustainably. These guys could mine sustainably. And again, you see, when the mining law that was established to be able to regulate those who mine small scale mining, actually these huge earth moving equipment, bulldozers, were not supposed to be used. So if you cannot mine like Anglo Gold, you cannot mine like Newmont, and you're also not mining like the small scale that we're supposed to use surface mining, all those things, not to destroy the earth the way we are seeing, not to destroy the liver. Then you need another policy in between with a blueprint of how to regulate those activities. You're going to use this thing. You are not going to be able to do underground shaft system like the way Anglo Gold will do. You're going to destroy the earth. If you are given a kilometer square of land, how much do you need? How much would environmental engineers need to reclaim that land?
Yeah.
Should we put in a part of it that you produce an insurance guarantee, or you put money in a special fund? That destroy this, but we are not destroying the river, and then we will come for this.
Yeah, that might need to see to restore whatever.
Yeah.
Wow.
Archie, we'll end it over there.
Listeners, we will have to end the program here. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, and it's 5 minutes past the top of the hour. This afternoon on BB Clement, we are looking at the Black History Month. Black History Month. That's what we will be looking at this afternoon, and I want to encourage you to be part of it. We'll be looking at black businesses and where we are now on Black History Month. Okay, so on that note, let me say thank you very much to Felix who did call in, Mr. Olayomi Koiki, and all you wonderful people who tuned in there, Mr. Frank Dennis, and every one of you who was part of the program, from Bishop Adeshola, Tons, Kami, Moyuwa, my man, Isaiah, Liz Dada, and all of you, Dave West, and everyone who, one way or the other, and those of you, the hundreds of you, or let's go the thousands of you behind the scenes who always hide there to listen and put your comment. We want to say thank you very much for that wonderful contribution to the program. We'll be coming your way tomorrow once again with another edition of the morning show. On that note, let me say God richly bless you. Have a lovely afternoon, but I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye bye for now.
Come Sana winning bankasao Tintumranie Mabibini Biba usemrani Jimisu How do you way Need of a pawunium nepway Need of a pawunium nepway Oh Only one midnight Oh Baby, true me, mommy, Sabemi.